Hey, this is the Review Junkie, and today I'll be reviewing the new action-adventure film Knights of the Zodiac. As always, my review will be illustrated and the artwork is done by myself. And if you like movies, art, and comic books, please hit that subscribe button because all my movie reviews are hand-drawn, and I like to get to 1,000 subscribers soon so my channel can be official. This movie stars Yu, Madison Iceman, Famke Johnson, Nick Stahl, Mark Dacascos, Diego Tanaco, and Sean Bean. It's directed by Tomas Baczynski. Now, this is a non-spoiler review, so everything I discuss will have been shown in the trailer. Absolutely no spoilers. I'll tell you briefly about the plot, the characters, my pros and cons, final thoughts, and if this is worth checking out at your local movie theater. Plot-wise, the goddess of war Athena is reincarnated in the body of Sienna, played by Madison Iceman. I don't want to spoil anything, but she is being targeted. We also have Seiya, played by Yu, whom is destined to be one of her protectors. Turns out he has a secret, and we also have the villains of the film, played by Famke, Nick, and Diego, who are fighting a secret war. So this is the beloved manga from Japan. Here we are almost 4 decades in. The comic book is from the 1980s and has become famous around the world, had various anime series, various comic book reboots, toys, video games, and so on, and it finally gets its big screen debut. The anime really struggled in the US because there were various English dubs, and many of them didn't get to finish dubbing the entire series except the Netflix version, which ironically is no longer available. So I saw the trailer and was excited to see it because I love anime adaptations, but we don't get many, and the ones we get have been pretty horrible. The trailer looked pretty bad, especially Athena's cheap 99-cent purple colored wig. Okay, so I went in with really low expectations, especially after Dragon Ball Evolution and Cowboy Bebop. But I have good news for you, this actually isn't bad. I rather enjoyed it and I was thoroughly entertained. So I'm not a Saint Seiya expert and have only seen a few episodes, but I've always been a huge fan of the manga, the anime, and the toys. I love the Greek mythology element fused with Japanese culture along with the astrological signs. I think all of that is the perfect recipe for good entertainment. The biggest pro for me, and I thought it was a smart choice to be made, was the action. Immediately, within the first minute of the film, there's a big fight sequence, which I think hardcore Saint Seiya fans will love, and it's giving setup to why specific things are happening, and then it continues with another action sequence. It just kind of gets right into it with just another hand-to-hand combat action sequence, which I think fans will enjoy. And keep in mind, these aren't short 30-second scenes. They are rather long, and it was great. It gets you pumped and your adrenaline going. I also like the casting, and I thought everyone was pretty good with what they had to work with. Yes, there are some cheesy moments and some silly dialogue with one-liners, but they did try to keep the tone as serious as possible, and kudos that they cast a Japanese actor in the main role. I mean, 10 years ago, something like that would have never happened. I'm not familiar with him, but all his movies are Japanese films, and this is actually his second US movie. I thought he was likable and had good screen presence. Sean and Famke are such pros, and they really elevate the material. Every time they're on screen, the film feels more sophisticated. And just to give you some movie trivia, these are two 007 veterans reuniting almost 30 years later since their 1995 movie GoldenEye. I thought this adaptation was faithful to the source as much as it could be. It follows the 2020 anime series pretty closely. They have little Easter eggs here and there because Seiya always wore a red shirt in the anime, and he does that here as well. There were some changes made, such as Ikki the Phoenix, who's now named Nero in this version. So if you want a direct carbon copy of the 1986 anime translated to the big screen, then forget it. Now, I do have a few small cons, and the first is there were moments where it did feel like a teen CW show, and perhaps it had to do with the young leads. And Athena's character starts off really bitchy and suddenly does a 360 turn, which I thought was odd. It just came out of nowhere. And second, you can really tell the film had a tight budget. And when these moments happen, you realize they did the best they could. These special effects I thought were okay. There were some moments where it wasn't great and other parts where it was better. I feel any fantasy anime turned big screen movie just needs a large budget in order to execute all those epic elements that people love. So this brings me to my final thoughts, and this gets a solid 7 out of 10 for me. I'm so glad the film ended up being good popcorn fun. It's not a masterpiece, but I think you feel the dedication involved with bringing this to the big screen. I think audiences and fans will really enjoy the fusion of fantasy and action, and will also enjoy the third act battle and setup. There is no bonus end credit scene, but I do hope we get a few more sequels. I definitely buy the Blu-ray and a digital copy when it's released. And I do think no matter what, there will be hardcore fans out there that wish this particular vision was more aligned with the manga and anime, and they'll have complaints no matter what. But despite all that, I had a good time, and this is the big green light for me. I would definitely recommend you check this out on the big screen where it's meant to be seen, and go in with an open mind about its tight budget. Thanks for checking out my review. If you like, please subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. Hit the thumbs up button. Feel free to share this with your friends. And if you happen to have a movie you'd like me to review, please let me know. I'd be happy to watch and illustrate it for a future video. Thanks again, and I hope the pictures put a smile on your face.